All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another installment of the All We Do Is Talk podcast. I'm here with Christian Cubis and Isaiah Harris. We're here to react to the All-Star teams in the All-Star draft, which was absolutely hilarious. Shout out to KD. And give you some award predictions for how we think the season has gone so far. How you guys doing today?
Good. What's up, y'all?
Great. How about you?
Doing all right. I guess we can. We'll start with the All-Star team. Really interesting selection of players I think we had this year. A couple of, obviously, KD, Draymond, and
two guys in LA.
Yes, and two guys in LA.
And Anthony Davis.
Yeah, a few guys. Injuries.
Lillard, Bradley Beal.
Injuries have caused a few guys to be able to miss out this year, so we got several new names. We got several new names. Can someone get the All-Star list up for me?
I got it.
All right, so who the East West starters?
So for Team LeBron, we have Giannis, Steph, DeMar, LeBron himself, and Jokic. Probably the best.
That's the best starting five I've ever heard of.
That sounds unbelievable.
And the GM has done it again. I guess he can only pick All-Star teams, but
he picks first every year. So I mean, he's
but
always gonna be
no one tells KD to not take the next best player on the board every time.
He took Embiid, but we'll get to him.
I'd probably rather have Steph.
Yeah.
On his bench, LeBron's gonna be flanked by Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic, who's probably the best reserve player. Darius Garland, James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and Freddie Van Fleet.
And I guess we could talk about the biggest surprise of that group. How do we feel about Darius Garland becoming an All-Star player?
Moody was pushing for Garland, but I was pushing for Jarrett Allen to be the All-Star from Cleveland. They went with the guy who puts up the flashy offensive numbers, but I think that he's been masterful in his helping up turning around Cleveland. He's running the show, servicing the big men that he has on his team while also helping Kevin Love have this career resurgent. So, I mean, if he's running the show, I can understand why he gets the nod, but I would have went with Jarrett Allen on Cleveland for my choice of All-Star from Cleveland.
He's definitely been anchoring that defense. Any other? Fred VanVleet, also a first-time All-Star Drake lookalike.
I mean, he should have been the Finals MVP when Toronto won the Finals all those years ago, and now he's got his money a couple off seasons ago. Now he's an all-star, so I mean, this was a guy that was undrafted. What a turnaround! What development in his career to go from an undrafted player to an all-star champion caliber point guard starting for Toronto, and I think they're on a 6-game winning streak.
I think
it's 8. They've won a lot of games in a row. So I mean, and he's their best player. He's been the most healthiest. Siakam was hurt early on, so I can see.
Nobody's been hurt.
And they're second to next best player as a rookie. So I'm okay with Fred VanVleet being in Toronto represented for an All-Star. He's their best player.
What are your thoughts on Team LeBron, Christian?
Yeah, well, going back to Darius Garland and Fred VanVleet, it's amazing these two guards are new for the All-Star. There's at least a couple more guards in the East Conference who are just injured. Kyrie especially.
Yeah.
That just
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons especially, but they don't count this year. So it's exciting to see. Darius Garland, young talent. So I'm surprised to see how his future is with the Cavs. And Fred VanVleet, we already know he's a baller, Drake lookalike without the Drake clout. So, Finals MVP, he should have got it, but like I said, they have clout. Kawhi obviously has more clout for that.
And as long as he's in the 6, he can get some Drake clout by association. I'm sure he can walk around Toronto and fake it for a little bit.
No doubt, but yeah, we'll see how it is. Le GM, obviously general manager LeBron, made that team super stacked, so we'll see how it is.
And so now for Team Durant, their captain is Kevin Durant, but he is not playing in his 4th consecutive All-Star game.
We haven't seen KD since he was a Warrior playing All-Star
2018? Wow. So he went with Joel Embiid. He's got John Morant, Jason Tatum. He had to pick last, so he had to settle for All-Star starter Andrew Wiggins.
All right, pause. All right, we have to do a segment on Mr. Andrew All-Star starter Wiggins.
This is for you.
All right, first of all, my thoughts are I think San Francisco area coach should be banned from fan voting forever because he didn't get a single media vote, and I don't think he had a coach vote. So I want to know why is Andrew Wiggins starting in the All-Star game? I understand that winning matters, but
I think he was third in the media vote.
I saw he didn't get it. It doesn't matter. There's no reason that Andrew Wiggins should be starting on the court. We're going to see 10 of some of the best basketball players in the world, 9 of some of the best basketball players in the world. We're going to look at Andrew Wiggins. He's going to be a sore thumb. But hey, since he got that announcement, he's been playing really good ball. He's been dynamic on defense for them. Give Andrew a lot of credit. He's taken a lot of hits, a lot of shots over the years from fans, myself included on this podcast. But congratulations to him on being an All-Star starter. How do you guys feel about it?
He definitely doesn't belong, but The fans wanted to see him, so.
First I'm Pachulia, now this. Ban Warriors fans from All-Star voting forever.
Yeah, I totally agree. He doesn't belong there. I just want to know who he's related to in the voting ballot. That maybe let him be there. But other than that, we're gonna see 9 of the best basketball players on Team KD's team, and then Andrew Wiggins there, maybe missing layups, airballing some balls. So we'll see. So.
Shooting shots off the side of the rim.
Yeah.
And I hope you don't show up there and just look like you don't. Oh man, I'm still just a regular.
He'd just be happy to be there.
Rest of the team.
Trey Young was the last player that I forgot to.
Another guy that probably was a little undeserving of being a starter, but congrats to him.
Yeah, so Jason Tatum got to move in and take KD's spot in the starting lineup. So I think that's the second year in a row that Jason Tatum's moved in and taken KD's spot in the starting lineup. Good for him. I don't know how he gets that spot, but that's good for him. On the reserves, we've got a lot of new guys. We got LaMelo Ball making his first appearance.
Year 2, that's
beating Zone to the
great.
All-Star game.
4th youngest All-Star ever.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Mr. Devin Booker, I think this is the second year in a row. Last year he was a replacement player. This year he was actually picked, so good for him. Rudy Gobert doesn't have to cry about not getting in this year. He gets in. I think this is his 3rd consecutive year since that. Wow. So
He found a way.
Zach LaVine, I think this is making his 2nd appearance. I think last year was his 1st appearance.
He made it last year? I think was he reserve last year?
Yeah, he was. Or he might have been a replacement.
Replacement is what I meant to say. Yeah.
Chris Middleton getting his championship clout and status. He's been up 4 years in a row now.
Yeah, he gets auto spot.
Auto spot, good for him being on the best team in the East. We'll do that to you. Dejante Murray, who was a replacement player. You guys were pushing hard.
Yeah, I think well deserved for Dejante Murray. He just passed. Passed David Robinson, I think, for the most triple doubles in Spurs franchise history. He's a dynamic player on both sides of the ball. I mean, we know the Spurs aren't very good, but this is a situation where we're just recognizing the talent.
I would have preferred Jared Jackson Jr. Especially since he replaced Draymond, who's a forward. So I would have gone with Triple J because his team's actually winning. But apparently everybody, Dejante Murray, like you said, he set the record for triple doubles in Spurs history. It wasn't a crazy record to reach.
Just 15.
So I think he just good for him.
Westbrook, that used to be a January for Russell Westbrook.
Karl Anthony Towns, who gets back in. I think he wasn't in the last couple years after the Jimmy Butler debacle, but his team is decent this year and they're letting him in. So I think he's well deserved for Karl Anthony Towns, one of the best bigs in the league.
For sure.
Not the guy that people were saying that they were going to take over every player in the league a couple years back, but still a very effective player, and his team's winning now. Anything to say about those reserves for the team?
I think KD has shown in the real world and in All-Star draft he's not a good GM. We shouldn't be trusting KD to be making personnel decisions. I don't know why. I guess him not playing is going to keep giving. He doesn't have to go out there. He doesn't have to go out there and get embarrassed by Team LeBron. though. That's why I think he's picking these teams. Tanking.
Also, he never gets to pick first. Like same thing we saw. Like I said, same thing we saw with Giannis. If LeBron gets to pick the first All-Star every year first. And none of them, and never have to pick his teammates.
He still shouldn't have the ball.
And never his teammates, while the other guys are taking their teammates. And I'm gonna throw some shade on LeBron for disrespecting James Harden just for the sake.
Whoa, he picked James Harden.
Last, he actually didn't.
Someone didn't pick him at all.
LeBron didn't pick James Harden. He was the last player available, and he had to take him.
Man, he's the new James Harden, new Chris Middleton. He gets the new Andrew Wiggins. I can pick last now. Wow.
Anything else to say? I think it's clear that Team LeBron's way is the best. By far and away better. I'm sure this will be a block.
The gap gets bigger every year.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really did.
Hopefully, one of these days, another player will get more votes than LeBron, and we can see another player pick first.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about this?
Just the young talent on Team Durant's team, Dejante Murray, well deserved for his talent on bad team of the Spurs. LaMelo Ball, obviously we all know he's elite 2nd year, All-Star, well deserved. I don't think Miles Bridges got All-Star, did he?
No Miles Bridges. He's one of those guys who could have been on the outside looking in.
Those two have been an amazing duo this year, so I'm glad that LaMelo got it. Another name, Karl Anthony Towns. He's had a hell of a year so far, averaging a double-double. His team's finally winning, so we'll see how that is. Him and Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is playing pretty good too. Mm-hmm. But John Morant, especially, that's one name that catches my eye. Him and Trey Young, they're just young talent that you can really tell they're a big game changer in their bad teams. So, well, not that bad.
Not anymore. They turned them around.
Yeah, they have turned them around. So, Yeah, that's my comments.
So biggest snub, I'm gonna go with Jalen Brown. I thought he should have got a spot for sure. When a guy like Andrew Wiggins finesses into the starting lineup, and Darius Garland, Jalen Brown's another guy I would have pushed for over Darius Garland in particular.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Jalen Brown's the guy that gets the biggest snub for him.
Yeah, I think injury is the reason now, and I'm going to be a bias, but there's no reason Andrew Wiggins should be an all-star, not Anthony Davis. So I gotta give Anthony. He's ahead of Dejante Murray in the standings, and he's got better overall numbers anyway. So like, I know everybody's mad at AD for some reason this year, but 24 and 10, 2 blocks, that's an all-star player.
Snub, Christian, biggest snub?
Yeah, biggest snub. My biggest snub was Dejante Murray, but now that he's in, another one I have to think of is it's just really injuries that killed me this season. But I was thinking Julius Randle just because he has been playing pretty good. But I don't know. I can't really think of any other one honestly. Okay. Dejante Murray, thank God he got it. So that was the number one snub for me.
Okay. All right. So now we're gonna go on to some award predictions. Now that we're kind of at the midway point, even though we're a little late
past that. 25
yeah,
games
we're at the midway point of the full season.
Yeah.
So, leading MVP candidate?
For me, it's going to be Joel Embiid. I think we all were questionable, sketchy about what Philly's prospects were this year with the whole Ben Simmons drama, and he's been nothing short of outstanding. I think he's there 30 straight games with 25-plus points, averaging a double-double. We know what he gives you on the defensive end. He's developed so much as a passer, as a leader. You can see that it's really, really become his team and his franchise. The fans are behind him. I think if he didn't get hurt last year, he probably could have won it last year. This year, I definitely think he should be in the front runner for it. They're, I think, a game or two out of the top spot in the Eastern Conference. And with the addition of James Harden, with this version of Joel Embiid, Philly's a true championship contender. Joel Embiid's my lead MVP frontrunner.
Christian?
Okay, I 100% agree with Moody. Joel Embiid, obviously, he's been dropping 35, 40 points a night. Dominating. If you would have asked me the first half of the season, I would have said Steph Curry, but he hasn't. Obviously, with Klay Thompson coming back, he's been taking more shots that Steph would have been taking. But Joel Embiid definitely has led that team. You can see a big difference when Joel Embiid's injured compared to when he's off the court. There's really no center dominance there. But the fact that Harden's even going to 76ers makes that team a way more of a championship contender that I'm super excited to see. Embiid in the paint, or even post up, pass it out to Harden, or even in addition to Tobias Harris, pretty good shooters. So we'll see how that is. But Embiid's my number one for MVP.
I mean, this is tough because the Eastern Conference is wacky.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right now, the Heat are sitting at the 1 seed, and the Cavs are actually at 2.
Wow.
But I'm gonna go with Devin Booker because
preseason pick.
Because the Phoenix Suns are by far and away the best team. They don't
give the man his respect. I appreciate it, Isaiah. If someone finally give it Devin Booker some well-deserved respect, he'd be out here having a whole lot for Chris Paul.
Looking at the standings, they've got 45 wins, and it's not really no one's even close. I don't know if they're guaranteed to win the championship again, but a team that's running away with the 1 seed overall, the best player on their team is Devin Booker. His scoring has been amazing this year. I think he's the best player on their team. Some might say Chris Paul, but I'll say Devin Booker is the best player on the team. And I'm a true believer in the MVP goes to the best player on the best team, barring close, splitting hairs, and this isn't close. The Phoenix Suns are by far and away the best team. They rarely lose, so I'm gonna go with Devin Booker.
All right, first runner-up. What are your first runner-up? Who's competing with Devin Booker for the next spot?
John Morant.
John,
who I thought could be the most improved player. I think that's what the award he'll have to settle for.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the turnaround he's brought to Memphis I think Memphis is the second best team in the West right now. Wow. So he's leading them. So that's why I'm gonna go with John Morant.
John loses some points for me because he missed those 2 weeks and the team didn't trail while he was out, because that's how good those others are in Memphis. But yeah, John's perfectly good runner-up. My runner-up's gonna be DeMar DeRozan. It's absolutely stunning, the performance he's put on this year. He's got 4 straight 35-point games. Chicago's defense was so massively improved. They lost their 2 best defenders. The defense dropped off. but their team is not. He's continued to be absolutely outstanding. He's efficient. He's knocking in the 3-ball more often this year. He's really, really shown an elevation to his game. I don't think we've ever seen DeMar DeRozan as good as this. Zach LaVine in and out of the lineup, it doesn't matter. DeMar DeRozan's been the steadying force. He's been the dominant player. He's been the best player. And that's why Chicago has been one of the more surprising teams in the league this year.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Watching DeMar DeRozan drop a buzzer beater, watching it live, I have seen.
Man, you got a lot of wish's pain being projected out here on the pod.
Yeah, I know. But if I could think of runner-up, I would have to say Jokic.
Yeah.
Just because he's been playing amazing this year. Obviously, point guard center is what he is. He's the revolution of Europeans playing basketball in the NBA. He's just dominating passing overall, offense, defensively. So that's my runner-up. 2 centers, so it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a pretty open race.
Centers are back.
It's a pretty open race. It's going to be interesting to see.
All right, what's the next award you want to talk about?
DPOY?
DPOY, yeah, this one's because probably at the beginning of the year it would have been Draymond, but Draymond's been out for so long and we don't know when he's going to be back. It's kind of hard. I went with Jared Allen. For the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland had launched to a top 5 defense in the NBA, and I love Evan Mobley, but he's still a young guy learning. Lauri Markkanen, Kevin Love, Darius Garland, Ricky Rubio, all these guys they've had these are all-star defenders, and yet their defense has been considered one of the very best in the league. He's one of the tops. He's one of the best rim protectors in the league. He's shown the ability to handle some things on the perimeter too. He's just the anchor for one of the best defenses and one of the best teams in the NBA that turned it around. So I'll go with Jared Allen.
Okay.
Christian, you go ahead.
So defensive player of the year, I would say would be Giannis, just because how dominating he's been in the paint. Just his main length, that's his main advantage. Kind of that AD type of body with a more slim, lethal, fast type of way. But that's kind of he really has the evil combo for everything. So it's just really unstoppable.
Giannis is one of those guys who could win this award every year.
Yeah, exactly. It's I'm super excited, and we already know he's going to be blocking in the All-Star game. So he's the only one that tries hard with that.
LeBron said the most try-hard player in All-Star history.
Yep. So.
Isaiah, you got a DPOY guy?
I just wanted to look at the odds to see what I was thinking was matching up. So right now they have Draymond and Rudy Gobert as the favorites, but I just think
both those guys are hurt.
Those guys have numbers that are just your numbers are skewed because of the regular season. Giannis is the third guy, of course. He's great. My pick for second place is at 4th in the running, but I'm gonna highlight my choice to be Jrue Holiday because I've watched a couple of his games. I watched 3 of his games in the last 2 weeks alone, from start to finish, and he is an absolute menace on defense. If you go back and watch that Phoenix game, he was still giving, when he was on Chris Paul and or Devin Booker, he was still giving them problems. And I just think Ben Simmons is the best perimeter defender in the league now that Kawhi Leonard and Klay Thompson have suffered their major injuries, but I'm sure Jrue Holiday is the best perimeter defender that's a guard. That's the way I'll say that. He's guard size.
I feel about Alex Caruso, but yeah, Jrue Holiday.
Jrue Holiday. And my second runner-up would actually be a guy that I thought who's high in the odds as Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
If you look at his defensive metrics, I was a couple weeks ago, they're ridiculous, and he's the lead catalyst that makes Memphis the defense they are.
The league leader in blocks.
So I like what he's shown this year. So I'd go with Jrue Holiday as my leader because I don't think perimeter defenders that are guards get a lot of attention for this award. And Jared Jackson would be my second place guy.
My runner-up's going to be Joel Embiid. He's the anchor for an outstanding Philadelphia defense.
He's actually in 5th place.
He's in 5th place in the odds. Yeah, he's got a lot of good defenders around him. Obviously with Matisse Thybulle. Ben Simmons never actually played, but Tyrese Maxey is a really good defender as well. But Joel Embiid's the guy they run their defense to. They funnel all the guys to him. Excellent protecting in the paint. Joel Embiid, he's one of those guys who just a dynamic player on both sides of the floor.
And I think the best case for him is that they're still a top 10 defense this year without Ben Simmons, who was second in DPOY last year. So that's a good case for him. But now they do have Thybulle and Maxey, who are also all NBA level defenders.
They do outstanding times on defense. Absolutely.
My runner-up, every year I do hear about the cloud behind Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. But this year I've been keeping an eye on Jared Allen. I think he's really brought brought great defense to the Cavs team, especially in the paint. He's just really lethal, especially that he's young. So I think that's probably my runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year, without the Rudy Gobert clout, obviously, but
for sure
slept on.
So rookie of the year?
Rookie of the year, yeah. Well, me and Isaiah luckily have our guy, Mr. Evan Mobley. I think for sure will be the consistent guy here for Rookie of the Year. He's been life-changing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's just be honest with you, because Jared Allen and Darius Garland were there last year. They weren't any good. But then drafting Evan Mobley, who I thought was the best player in the draft, third overall, was a coup for them. He's got the perfect size and athleticism blend to be a dynamic defender, and not to mention his offensive game that's growing. He has real Anthony Davis, Johnson Antetokounmpo-like future potential, I believe. His numbers have backed it up: 14 points, 15 points, 7, 8 rebounds. He's blocking a couple shots per game. His ability to defend on the perimeter and switches have been huge. That allows Cleveland to stay big.
Keep Kevin Love on the court.
Keep Kevin Love on the court. They start Lauri Markkanen at the 3. They're huge, and they're huge because of him, because of how well he can defend at all levels of the floor, all the different positions. And offensively, his game is still growing. He's struggling a little bit at the free throw line, but he can hit from all 3 areas of the court: inside, mid-range, and from the three-point line. He's got really good post-game too. He can attack off the dribble. Just the most talented player in the draft, I thought. He's been the most productive rookie in my opinion. I think he's one with a gap.
Since Moody picked Mobley, he's probably gonna win it. I think he's gapped away, and maybe Cade Cunningham catches up. But I'm gonna actually go and shine the spotlight on Franz Walner, who I think is having a great year.
He is.
On Orlando, playing with his brother. He looks like what everybody thought Mario Herman Gomez was gonna be.
You mean Mario Hezonja?
Hezonja? Yeah, exactly. He's got great size, great athlete, great shooting ability. He can defend. He's a modern day wing, can play 3 or 4. I'm interested to see what he can be, because I don't know what his ceiling is, but he looks like one of the Bogdan brothers, but better.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's having a great year. I think he's averaging like 16 points per game.
He's been outstanding.
Can facilitate, great player, and I think he went at the bottom of the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was a good player coming out, but what he's shown me, he looks like he's here to stay.
Yeah.
Not just a rotational guy. He looks like he'll be a solid starter at worst for his career.
Yeah, for mine, I would probably say Cade Cunningham, just because, really he's on a terrible team, number 1 overall draft pick. That's how it usually goes most of the time. But, he's just been really lethal for the team. Great guard, added offense, defense to them. He's still young, so a lot of energy. He was slightly injured, out for like a couple weeks, but, obviously that might affect the award. But overall, he's had up and downs. And when he shows his ups, he really gets there around like 30 points I've seen. And, he's still developing since it is his first year, so I'm super excited to see how that is.
Yeah, I think Mobley's the most talented. I think Cade's the most complete player in the draft for sure. He's shown he's shown the guy who could be the number 1 option, I think. I don't think anybody else in this draft has shown the ability to be the best player on an actual contending team. But I think Cade, his ability to be the facilitating playmaker, he can score off the dribble, he could be a number 1 option. If Jeremy Grant would just step back and get out of the way, I think we would really see Cade Cunningham shine.
Since we all named 3 of the top 5 in the betting odds according to Odds Sharp, might as well shine some spotlight on the other 2 guys.
Well, I'll have my runner-up. I haven't looked at it yesterday, but my runner-up will be Scottie Barnes from Toronto. Absolutely elite defender, just immediately stepped on the court. Nick Nurse in Toronto, they know how to draft these guys. They know how to develop these guys. He looks like a future Kawhi Leonard type in terms of what his future projection looks to be. He's already unbelievable on defense, smart, instinctual, long, athletic, big, strong body. He's got all the tools to be an outstanding defender in this league for a long time. But the offensive game is surprisingly a lot farther than we expected. He's already shown to be a capable 3-point shooter. He has some off the dribble chops. He can facilitate as well. Just a home run pick for Toronto at the 5th overall.
Yeah, so the other guy, since we've named all 4, unless you want to name one more, an honorable mention.
The other name I was thinking of for my runner-up was Franz Wagner.
Okay.
You kind of went over all this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the other, on the 5th, so right now, according to Odds Sharks, they have it Mobley, Cunningham, Barnes, Wagner, and Josh Giddey, who's having a great year.
Yeah.
He's just playing at OKC, and sometimes, I think this year they lost by 71 times, which is never a good look. But Josh Giddey is one of those modern big league guards. He does all the passing, defense, ball movement, shooting. That's a good. He looks like a nice.
He reminds me
player.
of, what was that guy's name? Grievous. Like, you remember the Grievous Vasquez?
Yes.
Like 6'6" point guard. Yeah, that's exactly who he reminds
Another
me
one.
of.
A lot of they're becoming the big league guards are becoming popular.
Yep.
So he looks like a nice player.
You know, I will say Jalen Green hasn't been playing bad either. He's just unfortunately, you know, in a toilet bowl team like
Yeah.
the Houston Rockets.
He doesn't have the team and the offense around him for him to really showcase his skills. He's still very raw. But the talent, you can see the athletic talent is there.
Yeah, it's just.
All right. So next coach of the year.
All right, yeah, this one, I think this is going to be a tight race definitely coming down the year. The East has so many good candidates, but my guy's going to be Taylor Jenkins from the Memphis Grizzlies. Their team is just so solid, so fundamentally sound, technically sound. They don't make mistakes out there. When Ja comes off the court, they don't lose a beat. The plus and minus for all their players is outstanding. It's really been an unbelievable job. Their system on both sides of the ball is pretty much flawless. It maximizes all their players. They all play in the right spots. He's not too stubborn with Steven Adams. We know what his capabilities are, but they don't force him to be on the court. They let Jaren Jackson be freedom out of 5 as well. I love Taylor Jenkins and what he's done with the Memphis Grizzlies. I think he's been as important to their team's turnaround as what John Moran has.
I'm gonna go with J.B. Bickerstaff. He
Yeah.
actually just got a contract extension. I mean, he's responsible for the first playoff-bound Cleveland team in our
Fun
lifetime.
fact about J.B. Bickerstaff: his dad has the highest Laker winning percentage of all time as a head coach at 4-1.
But yeah, J.B. Bickerstaff, he's leading the first ever playoff-bound Cleveland team in my lifetime that doesn't have LeBron James on it. So just that alone.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
He's made all his pieces work. I didn't know how they were gonna fit in marketing. Moody laughed that they were gonna be. People were laughing like Moody that they were gonna be way too big, but he made it happen. Got a resurgence from Kevin Love. Overcame the Colin Sexton injury.
Ricky Rubio
injury. I mean, Cleveland is probably the most shocking team of how good they are this year. I think I saw it earlier that they're sitting in the 2 seed.
Yeah.
No one was going to, even though me and Moody both thought Cleveland could be good, we didn't think they were going to be top half of the bracket good.
Yeah.
So J.B. Bickerstaff gets a good little nod from me for Coach of the Year. He's also second in the odds, so I love to see that when I searched and thought of him.
Yeah, for my team, or for my coach of the year, I would probably choose Monty Williams.
Yeah.
Just because how amazing the Suns. You know, it's really been back-to-back seasons. The last season obviously went to the finals, and they clearly are hungry to go back again this year. But you know, they really focus on ball movement, is what I've noticed. Just really, you know, run out the clock, make the most of their time. You know, and the fact that they're able to make pieces like Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, Landry Shamet work together. You know, really main ball handlers who really don't pass the ball. So, you know, it clearly shows, obviously, in their record right now, how that's worked for them. And, you know, pieces like Devin Booker, obviously, the main scorer. So that's obviously
here
worked
for
for
Monty
them.
Williams.
He's the favorite right now.
Yeah.
Is he?
I don't know. I didn't think he'd be the favorite, but I guess he's going to get
their record
claim
is-
for the winning.
Well, one, he got robbed of it last year because they wanted to hand it to Tom Thibodeau. It's just going to be tough for him. He'd be my runner-up option, I think, for sure. But I think but Monty Williams, that's just, they were the 1 seed last year. They got a great record this year. It's not as good as it was last year, though. So it's just, love Phoenix, but it's kind of hard to give him. He's a victim of his own success. So if I'm going to give another guy a shout out, it'll be Eric Spoelstra from Miami. I think Miami's the number 1 seed in the East right now. I think they've overcome injuries better than any other team in the league this year. I think Golden State, Phoenix, Milwaukee, those teams have been relatively healthy throughout the year. Miami has not. Jimmy's missed multiple weeks. Bam missed 6 weeks. Kyle Lowry was just out 2-3 weeks with personal issues. For them to still be at the top of the conference, despite all the stuff, Duncan Robinson having a down year, and they're still coming out here and winning games on a consistent basis. I think that speaks to the culture and the coaching staff and the coaching job that Eric Spoelstra's at Miami.
My second guy would be Billy Donovan.
Chicago, yeah.
Like J.B. Bickerstaff, both guys that are just what the expectations were. They're just over. They're just
smashed them.
Yeah,
They smashed them.
yeah. So no one thought that the Cavs and the Bulls were going to be top half of the league bracket teams, and that's where they are right now. Now, will they finish there after the James Harden trade, fix his problems in Brooklyn and Philadelphia? Who knows? But right now, we'll give credit to Billy Donovan and J.B. Bickerstaff for turning around teams that have been bad for a long time, actually. So
Pretty much.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. For my runner-up, I have JB Bickerstaff as well. Just because no one really saw this Cavs team, make it this, especially their record how they are right now. The pieces they have. Obviously, they went from a team where Kevin Love would turn over the ball on purpose to, to now they're actually working together, passing the ball around.
For sure.
Working, getting the chemistry right. So
They got Kevin Love out of his feelings.
Yeah, so that's.
So I guess we did MVP, DPOY, Coach of the Year,
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the Year.
So
Most improved.
Most improved. We'll finish out with
Most improved. I think the obvious answer is Ja, just considering the jump that he's made this year. So I'm going to put Ja out of it. I'm going to give it to Darius Garland. He's shown that's why I wanted the Lakers to take it in 2018, but they traded for AD instead, and obviously happy about that. But Darius Garland, despite his small size, he's shown to be able to play much bigger than what he is, especially at finishing at the rim. He's been really, really good at being an inside-out scorer for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And not only that, he's the puppet master. I truly believe that. I think he's making everything happen for them. Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley get easy dunks all day long from Darius Garland's penetration, pick and roll. He's out there. He's on time and on target. He can make it happen for them. And then I think, as I said it earlier, he's contributed to the big reason why Kevin Love is back to being an outstanding basketball player again. Because Kevin Love can get all his open looks. Obviously, people are sucked inside at the size of the paint with Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. But Darius Garland being able to kick it out to Kevin Love and him knocking down shots at the rate he's been able to, I think it's been huge for them. So yeah, as far from expectations to where they are now, I think no one's made a bigger jump than Darius Garland.
Moody went with the dark horse. I'm going to keep with the guy that I predicted preseason. It's John Moran.
Yeah.
And he's running away with it. There's nothing more to say. The reason he might not get it is if he wins the MVP.
Yeah, he went from good player to all-star starter. That's for sure.
Yeah, like both of you, I obviously agree. John Morant, it really shows he's become the leader of the team. The main ball handler, the main scorer. He really he makes the big difference in that team. So that's why seeing where he was last season. He obviously was the point guard, but you can see kind of more of like a Damian Lillard type of leader in him for that team. So, it's great to see.
So Ja's the leader, and Darius is in third in odds. So anyway, what's he gets for the second place person? I think he actually deserves some notoriety.
Most improved.
Most improved.
Eastern Conference player.
Do you make the All-Star team?
No. Eastern Conference. Trey Young.
Maxine?
I don't know.
Go ahead.
It's Miles Bridges.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Miles Bridges. Yeah.
A guy that I thought was going to make a jump this year. Should have taken him on a fantasy team since I was so confident in it. But Miles Bridges, that's a nice young player. Also, Dejante Murray and Desmond Baines rounding out the top five.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a shout out to, this could be a surprising name, but we got to give a shout out. I bashed him earlier also, Andrew Wiggins. Who would have thought that Andrew Wiggins would go from overpriced role player to all-star starter? I think we got to give him massive credit for being able to just function on a winning basketball team and show the ability to be one of those glue pieces on a really quality team. And he's going to be out there set on an all-star game, starting on the opening tip. I think that's in itself just, we don't have to say in terms of like production, but I think in terms of clout, narrative, no one has had a bigger jump than Andrew Wiggins.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining us for this award show, and we got plenty of more NBA shows rolling out. Hope you guys enjoy it and enjoy the All-Star break and the All-Star game coming up next week.